Welcome aboard the Pullman Tour Zenith for an awe-inspiring cruise around the Adriatic and beyond. From the castles of Bologna to Venice's enchanting canals, down the Adriatic coast to the stunningly preserved medieval old town of Dubrovnik. The ethereal mixture of cultures in Corfu. Ancient Olympia, where the temples to the Greek gods oversaw the birth of the Olympics. And how about the beaches and vistas of stunning, sunny Santorini and the island of Mykonos, still intimately connected with its traditions and the sea? Aboard the only cruise line to offer an all-inclusive drink package, this dream cruise will take your breath away. Whether luxuriating on board or exploring the many fascinating destinations that await, there's something for every traveler with a taste for high-end adventure. We're going to hop on board in Ravenna and cruise around the Adriatic Sea before entering the Eastern Mediterranean, en route to the Cyclades and beyond. It's a trip that spans centuries and cultures, and how better to enjoy it than on board such a sumptuous vessel. With everything from boutique shopping, fine dining, and a wide range of cabin options, to an on-board gym, video games, and a library just to get started. Our home for the next 7 days is a joy waiting for us to discover, and her greatest treasure, the crew. With over 500 crew members from more than 25 countries, everyone prides themselves on making our time not just pleasant, but exceptional. Whether you're booking an excursion at the expedition desk and looking for some personal recommendations, seeking to discover a delicious new cocktail, or enjoy some fabulous live music, it's the human touch that makes all the difference. On board, you're really in the best company with the friendly and professional staff eager to help you in any way they can. As our ship is not departing until 10 tonight, we've got the chance for our first excursion, a short coach ride to Bologna. Bologna is the capital of the Emilia region of Italy and has been inhabited for close to 3,000 years. An important cultural and artistic center, it is also one of Italy's wealthiest cities, with many important industries headquartered here. The Palazzo Re Enzo, built in 1245, takes its name from Enzo of Sardinia, the son of the Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II, who was a prisoner here from 1249 until his death in 1272. It stands to the north of the Piazza Maggiore, often described as one of the most beautiful squares in all of Italy. From the south side is the Palazzo dei Banchi. Next is the San Petronio Basilica, and then the Palazzo da Curzio. The Palazzo da Curzio was originally the residence of Accursius, a famous jurist of the 13th century. It is now home to a museum and the town hall, and features a bronze statue of Pope Gregory XIII, best remembered for commissioning the Gregorian calendar, which we still use today. To the north is the Piazza Nettuno, named for the Fountain of Neptune, standing guard over the square. Details like the lactating nereids and non-geometric forms give this fountain of the artist Bologna lasting interest and appeal. Bologna's iconic towers provide useful landmarks as you move through the arcaded streets. Fresh produce, as well as the city's famous prepared meats and cheeses, make Bologna a city of many Epicurean delights. Enjoy a cafe latte or cappuccino before it's time to head back aboard. Tomorrow, we'll be visiting Venice. The Zenith will dock in Venice at 7 a.m. You can grab a continental breakfast from 6:30 a.m. on Deck 11 at the Windsurf Cafe, or a la carte and buffet in the Caravel restaurant on Deck 7 from 7 a.m. To make disembarking as smooth as possible, a great place to wait your turn is the Plaza Cafe on Deck 8. The helpful staff can make you a coffee any way you like, from an Italian double-shot espresso or cappuccino to a filter coffee, depending on your taste. Remember, the immigration authorities will need to see your passport or ID, so be sure to have them with you. Welcome to Venice. Steeped in romance and mystery, this northeastern Italian city sits on 118 small islands linked by bridges and crisscrossed by canals. There's a number of shore options available to you, from exploring Venice's canals by gondola to taking in the city's many artistic treasures. Our fun begins with a motorboat ride downtown to St. Mark's Square, the hub of Venice. Passing under the Scalzi Bridge, one of 4 bridges spanning the Grand Canal, we pass the Church of Santa Maria di Nazareth with its stunning Rococo facade. The backside of the Church of San Geremia is also visible, the seat of the cult of Santa Lucia di Syracuse, whose remains are inside. Venice's buildings are always sinking, a combination of the islands they sit upon subsiding and the seas around them rising. But don't worry, it's been going on for centuries, and the local authorities are taking measures to address the situation. Passing under the covered Ponte Rialto marks the halfway point down the Grand Canal. The first dry crossing of the Grand Canal was a pontoon bridge built here in 1181, which was rebuilt several times until its final stone incarnation was completed in 1591. Today, its covered ramps carry rows of shops and has become an iconic landmark of this city of bridges. You can enjoy a gondola ride if you've chosen that tour option. Or continue on foot through Venice's hidden walkways to uncover more of this romantic city's secrets. Venice is sometimes called the City of Masks, though the origin of mask wearing has been lost in the mists of time. Masks have traditionally been worn during Venice's carnival and around certain feast days, though many believe their popularity arose because of Venice's rigid class hierarchy and the opportunities masks afford for anonymous socializing, innocent and otherwise. Today, you can buy a mask from one of Venice's skilled mask makers or decorate your own if the fancy strikes. The choice of mask and what occasions you choose to wear it for is entirely up to you. In the heart of the San Polo district is the Basilica di Santa Maria Gloriosa dei Frari. Built of brick in the Italian Gothic style, its bell tower was absorbed into the main structure when the church was expanded in the 14th century. Today, the tower needs to be propped up as it has started to list to one side. A short walk from the church is the Ponte dei Frari, or Friars Bridge, from which many gondoliers ply their trade. Venice boasts many open markets where locals and visitors can buy fresh vegetables, spicy peppers, or other produce of the day. Stop for a bite in one of the cafes. And enjoy browsing the many boutiques. Then it's off to see more sights. The 15th century clock tower to the Church of San Giacomo di Rialto, traditionally considered the oldest church in the city, was a welcome addition to this always bustling business district. From here, it's a short walk to the covered Rialto Bridge. There's many opportunities to enjoy an aperitif along the way and to do a little shopping. The Grand Canal is truly Venice's main thoroughfare, and we can catch a gondola ride to rest our legs before our next stop. Teatro La Fenice is one of the most famous opera houses in Europe. Named after the mythical Phoenix, it replaced an older theater that burnt down. It has itself burnt to the ground twice. Rebuilt in 19th century style, it is once again home to many important operatic premieres. A short walk down the Calle Veste takes us to the Chiesa di San Moise, or Church of St. Moses. Like the Byzantines, Venetians often venerated Old Testament prophets as saints, and the elaborate Baroque facade is covered in carvings. Let's hop back into a gondola to visit another stunning example of Venice's religious architecture. Gondoliers have been part of Venice for centuries, and the knowledge of Venice's maze-like canals is passed from father to son in this exclusively male vocation. In the summer of 1630, Venice was ravaged by wave after wave of the bubonic plague, killing nearly a third of the population. When repeated prayers and processions failed to stop the devastation, the Venetian Senate decreed a new church would be built dedicated to the Virgin Mary, believed to be a defender of the Republic. Commenced in 1631 and completed 56 years later, Santa Maria della Salute, or St. Mary of Health, is a large octagonal building built on 1 million wooden piles, with a statue of the Virgin Mary at the apex of the pediment. It's now time to leave Venice, so let's head back to the ship at 5:30 for a 6 p.m. departure for Dubrovnik. As we depart from Venice, it's time to enjoy a before-dinner cocktail in one of the ship's many bars and lounges. Tonight, let's try the Plaza Cafe on the Fantasy Deck, or Deck 8. Your crew members pride themselves on having impeccable attention to detail, so don't be surprised if the barman remembers your favorite drink and prepares it just the way you like it. As your cruise is an all-inclusive, you don't have to worry about additional charges appearing on your bill. Dinner tonight in the Caravel restaurant on Deck 7 starts as usual at 8:30, but tonight has a Venetian theme. Remember that just because your identity may be concealed, shorts are still not allowed in the dining room out of respect for all your fellow travelers. Your entertainment crew prides itself on making every night aboard spectacular, and tonight is no exception. Come to the Broadway showroom at 10:30 on Decks 7 and 8 to enjoy the comedic stylings of your onboard performing artists. There's only one performance, and you can pick your own seats, so come early if you want a special spot. Enjoy the show. Tomorrow, we arrive in Dubrovnik. The ship's going to arrive in Dubrovnik at 2 p.m., so we've got the morning to enjoy more of what the Zenith has to offer. Enjoy the view as the Adriatic slips past, and then head inside to the Caravel for the breakfast buffet. Offering everything from typically European cold cuts, a wide assortment of whole grain and white flour baked goods, to fresh fruit, eggs, and juices. You'll have the chance to charge your batteries before the day's activities. Dubrovnik's wealth and prestige has always been built on maritime trade, and the city rivaled Venice in the Middle Ages. Once the moorings are secure, we can begin our explorations. Remember to bring your passports or European ID cards for the port authorities. Tours depart from the port of Gruž, and you can either take a panoramic tour by boat or travel by bus to arrive at the historic old town of Dubrovnik. A UNESCO World Heritage City, Dubrovnik boasts some of the most impressive medieval fortifications in the world, having survived several wars and the pace of modern development. Cast your mind back to the 15th century, when the Isthmus of Dubrovnik was under constant risk of attack from the Turks to the east or the Venetians to the west. The Revelin fortress, built to protect the eastern Ploče Gate, became the strongest of the city's fortresses. A statue of Saint Blaise, the patron saint of Dubrovnik, stands watch with the words, "Keep away, men of violence." For centuries, war has not affrighted this fortress, cherished by the spirit of the aged saint. A short walk from the gate is the Dominican monastery with its distinctive bell tower, a major landmark of the old city. A Gothic cloister surrounds a beautiful garden and was designed by Florentine architect Maso di Bartolomeo and completed in 1483. The Priory Church has a single-naved interior, and the apse is lit by two stained glass windows. The painted Gothic crucifix by Paolo Veneziano is a main attraction. There are several works by Croatian masters, such as an altarpiece by Ivo Dulcic and a statue of the Madonna. It's a special occasion to be able to visit Dubrovnik at night, so let's continue our nighttime stroll to the Church of Saint Blaise, the patron saint of Dubrovnik. A physician before becoming the Bishop of Sebastia in what is now Turkey, his early profession led him to resolve to become a healer of both bodily and spiritual ills. Venerated in Dubrovnik for reputedly warning the city of an attack in 971, his church boasts statues of St. Peter and Jerome, as well as St. Blaise himself. Nearby on Lutza Square is the Rector's Palace, where the rector or governor of the independent Republic of Ragusan presided from 1358 until 1808, 2 years after it was occupied by Napoleon. Having been damaged and repaired several times, the building boasts Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque elements. The bust of Miho Prakat, a rich shipowner who left his immense wealth to the Republic for charitable causes, sits in the eastern wing. It took the Senate 30 years to decide how to honor him, as they wanted the tribute to be respectful but not too public. He's the only citizen of the Dubrovnik Republic to have a statue erected in over 1,000 years. Since 1872, the Rector's Palace has been a museum of cultural history, and you can visit the old prison cells for those who fell foul of the Republic's justice system. Enjoy a stroll through Dubrovnik's beautiful stone-paved streets and stop for a drink or do a little shopping. There is nothing quite like the walls of Dubrovnik at night, and the imposing Minchenta Tower is something to behold. The bell tower is a helpful reminder of when it's time to head back on board. We set sail at 8 o'clock for Corfu. Tonight, the Broadway showroom on decks 7 and 8 is home to a zany spectacle of song and dance at 10:30. Created especially for your enjoyment, this show is guaranteed to amuse. Just remember that seats are on a first-come, first-served basis, and that out of respect for the artist's creation, you are asked not to photograph or record the show. You're sure to have a blast as the ship cruises 385 kilometers towards Corfu. A great spot to grab a delicious breakfast is at the windsurf buffet on deck 11. With many options to choose from, you can get your day started right away. The friendly staff are always on hand to help out and pride themselves on keeping everything fresh and fully stocked. There's always something happening poolside, so don't be surprised if the crew gets you dancing a conga line or competing in the sexy legs contest. It's all in good fun, and when you're enjoying the sunshine, everyone's a winner. Modeling can be hard work, so luckily there's the Marina Bar poolside for some quick refreshments. We'll be arriving in Corfu at 2 p.m., so let's enjoy some of the other features of our ship. The fitness center on deck 11 is a great spot to stay fit while on board. Featuring modern exercise equipment, as well as a collection of free weights, you can choose the activities that best fit your exercise needs. Arriving in Corfu, we are struck by its varied architecture, reflecting this Greek island's storied past. Romans, Normans, Venetians, even the French and British have left their mark on what is truly one of the most beautiful Ionian islands. Once the ship is secure, our day of exploration can begin. Remember that your shore group is indicated by letter on your magnetic key card, and to wait until your group is called to avoid unnecessary delays during disembarking. Our first stop will be the old Venetian citadel, separated from the rest of the city by a seawater moat, now used as a marina. Built in the 15th century to withstand Turkish invasions, it is a monument to the Venetian influence on Corfu, having been in Venetian hands between 1386 and Napoleon's conquest in 1797. The Doric-style Church of St. George's was built in 1840 after the British had wrested control of the island from Napoleon in 1815. Having been fought over many times, nowadays the moat is given over to pleasure craft, and the inhabitants have a bit more time to relax. Between the city and the fortress, the Spianata Square is a large open area, now lined with delightful terraces for us to enjoy a beverage before continuing our explorations. Most of the city grew up behind fortified walls, so every inch of land was put to good use, resulting in densely packed streets full of surprises. The Venetian influence extended to the emergence of a popular operatic scene, with the Nobile Teatro di San Giacomo being the first theater and opera house in Greece in modern times. Today, it's been converted into the City Hall. One of Corfu's iconic views is the Monastery of the Virgin Mary of Lacerna, reached by a cobblestone walkway. Built in the 17th century, it is famous for its beautiful Venetian belfry. A little further offshore is the island of Ponte Conisi, or Mouse Island, for the way it seems to dip its tail into the water. As the sun sets on our visit to Corfu, enjoy a cold beverage overlooking the harbor, the twinkling lights, and the boats bobbing on the waves. While we've been ashore, the crew have been preparing the Caravelle Dining Lounge for our return. Tonight, there's a sampling of food inspired by the cuisine of Corfu, with plenty of fish and seafood, along with the usual wide range of dining options. A fun activity on your cruise is a visit to the caricature artist on the Fantasy Deck, or Deck 8 by the Café Plaza. In a few short minutes, they will capture your likeness in a way you've never seen before. A fun souvenir to share with friends and family. Just remember to consult your itinerary for what times the artist is available. The smiles from this dream cruise are guaranteed to last a lifetime, so enjoy your evening. Tomorrow we visit ancient Olympia, birthplace of the Olympic Games. Once again, the glorious morning sun welcomes you to another day of cruising pleasure. From Corfu, it's about 330 kilometers to the seaside town of Catacolone, and our gateway to ancient Olympia. So there's time to laze on deck and enjoy the passing view. Our floating holiday resort has 2 pools and 3 hot tubs, so you can enjoy a dip between 8 in the morning and 9 at night. Catacolone is on a peninsula overlooking the Ionian Sea, and from here we will visit Olympia. Remember, if you've booked an excursion, to proceed to your meeting point at the time indicated so you don't miss a thing. Olympia was the site of the original Olympic Games, held every 4 years from 8th century BC to 4th century AD. The sanctuary of Olympia, as it is called, was the site of many temples to Zeus and the other Greek gods, as well as the hippodrome and stadium to the east, where the games themselves took place. The Philippian, an Ionic memorial of gold and ivory, contains statues of Philip of Macedon's family, Alexander the Great, Olympias, Amyntas III, and Eurydice I, to commemorate Philip's decisive battle against an alliance of Greek city-states at the Battle of Chaeronea in 338 BC. It is the only monument in Olympia dedicated to a human. Next to it, the Temple of Hera, the wife of Zeus, is one of the oldest Doric temples in Greece and was possibly built on the site of an even earlier cult. Today, the Olympic torch is lit here by focusing the rays of the sun with a parabolic mirror. The Metroon, dedicated to the mother goddess Demeter, lies below where the treasuries once stood and is next to the entrance to the stadium. A stadion was the Greek unit of measurement, equaling a length of 600 human feet, and gave rise to the term stadium we've adopted from Latin today. The only event at the very first Olympic Games was a sprint along the length of the stadium. To the south of the stadium, remains of the Hellenistic and Roman period are in evidence. There's the 5th century BC workshop where Phidias created his gold and ivory statue of Zeus, and also a villa that belonged to the Roman Emperor Nero. Before the site was rediscovered in 1766, it had been covered by alluvial deposits up to 8 meters deep, thought to be from river flooding. More recently, due to the presence of mollusk and other shells, scientists hypothesized that Olympia had been covered by ocean waters from tsunamis. Who knows, maybe Atlantis is still out there somewhere? There's a museum on site where 14,000 recovered objects are stored, including the Nike of Paeonius, the Hermes of Praxiteles, and many bronze artifacts. We'll head back to the ship at 4:30 with enough time to catch some rays before we set sail for Santorini. As the sun sets on all the wonders of ancient Greece, the day's fun is far from over. We'll want to get dressed up for the captain's cocktail at 7:30. You can have your photo taken with the captain. Enjoy appetizers and musical entertainment. But what separates a dream cruise from any ordinary holiday is the crew. On board, everyone takes the time to get to know you by making a special effort. Like being invited to dine at the captain's table for your gala night dinner. Bon appetit! Afterwards, how about inviting some new acquaintances to the card room on Deck 8 for a friendly game? With plenty of tables to spread out, the card room is the perfect spot for either casual or tournament gaming. Let's finish off our day at Michael's Club Premium Bar on Deck 8, where we can enjoy some music in the best company. The ship's world-class musicians are here to really get down. And in addition to the all-inclusive drink options, there are also premium sherries, cognacs, whiskeys, and cocktails for you to enjoy. You can also try some of the gin bar options, either something from the menu, or let your bartender's imagination whip up something just for you. Tonight, the Zenith sails to Santorini. The island of Santorini lies 200 kilometers off the southeast coast of the Greek mainland, and what is left after a massive volcanic explosion 3,600 years ago. The explosion caused a large area of ground to subside, forming the caldera that gives the approach to the island its distinctive crescent shape. Today, tender boats will ferry groups of passengers to shore, so listen for your letter to be called. Then collect your tender ticket in the Rainbow Disco on Deck 8. One small note, it's not recommended to wear flip-flops while boarding the tenders, so if you want them for later, just stick them in your bag. Once ashore, your expedition leaders will direct you to the right coach. Today, we're going to visit the village of Oia and then on to Fira, the capital of Santorini. From the top of the hill, we can see the north of the island and the volcanic caldera. On Santorini's highest peak is the monastery of the prophet Elijah. The island's religious connections have been the subject of much speculation, with some scholars asserting that the eruption of the volcano around 1500 BC caused the plagues in Egypt described in Exodus. Santorini is home to many colorful beaches, the result of successive layers of solidified lava being laid down over the millennia. There's Red Beach, White Beach, and Black Beach, where the dark pebbles and sand actually make the surrounding water considerably warmer due to absorbing heat from the sun. It's a beautiful spot to take a little break, and you can enjoy fresh seafood at one of the taverns along the beach. There are plenty of Santorini specialties to sample, like chickpeas with roasted peppers and onions, or meatless meatballs made from tomatoes, crushed herbs, and flour, along with many types of fish. On the southern tip of Santorini is Vlishata Beach, another stunning spot where the sand is made up almost entirely of volcanic ash eroded from the surrounding cliffs. Enjoy the warm Mediterranean sun. Soon we'll be heading to Oia to enjoy the end of this amazing day on Santorini. Passing over the top of the island, we catch a glimpse of a Greek Orthodox church and Catholic cathedral. When the Roman Empire was divided, Santorini became part of the Byzantine Empire, eventually adopting the Orthodox rites. During the Crusades, Catholicism came with Frankish settlement and continued under the Venetians. Today, both faiths cohabit peacefully. We've arrived at the small port of Oia, the oldest settlement on Santorini and possibly the most beautiful. Its whitewashed buildings are symbols of the Greek islands recognizable around the world. A mixture of traditional white and blue buildings, built into the volcanic rock, sit alongside medieval Venetian houses, all lovingly preserved to maintain Oia's unique charms. The sunsets from Oia are breathtaking. There really is something special about how the light falls on Santorini. There's a legend that the island casts an ancient spell on visitors, making them forevermore dream of coming back. Luxuriate in the beauty that surrounds us. Then we'll make our way back to the dock before the last tender boat leaves at 6 o'clock. Tonight, let's visit the Rendezvous Lounge on Deck 7. Able to welcome 170 people comfortably, it's a great spot to enjoy one of the bartender's delicious cocktails and listen to some live music. Settle in and stay a while. There's plenty of great company, and you're always made to feel welcome. Enjoy the show. Tomorrow, we're visiting Mykonos. As our dream cruise draws towards its end, it's a great time to visit the photo gallery in the camera and video store on Deck 7. You'll find all sorts of special photos from your cruise and can either buy the ones already printed or order more copies to share with friends. Along with batteries and all your photo and video needs, you can also print out your own photos while still on board. The ship's professional photographers are masters of their craft and have a knack for capturing you at your best. So be sure not to miss out on these special memories that will last a lifetime. The crew are passionate about making all of their guests feel like they're part of the family, and that's especially true for the youngest travelers. Deck 8 is an area exclusively created to make kids feel right at home with games and activities. The Tibu Club is for children 3 to 6, or the Capi Club for 7 to 11-year-olds. Check your daily itinerary for the hours the kids' clubs are open if you want to enjoy a romantic dinner or the kids don't want to go ashore. There's also a babysitting service available for an extra charge. Today we are visiting the island of Mykonos, another island of the Cyclades, so named for being around the sacred island of Delos. There's a boat trip to the sanctuary of Apollo at Delos, but we'll take a more laid-back option, a tour by foot through Mykonos village. Mykonos is home to a little over 10,000 people who have always had a strong bond with the sea as fishermen and sailors. In the 18th century, they were considered the best sailors in the Aegean. Lacking land suitable for agriculture, they have also specialized in textiles and flour milling. And the windmills have been landmarks since the 16th century. From the port, we can wander into town where there are plenty of stores and boutiques to browse in. Tourism is an important part of the modern economy, and you can find everything from fine jewelry to sandals. Many of the sandals are handmade locally, and Mykonos sandals have become so popular that you can even order a pair online or have some specially made and mailed to you. The winding streets take us past beautiful Aegean white and blue houses, and it won't be long until we run across this character. Years ago, a wounded pelican was nursed back to health and given the name Petros. He became such a popular mascot of the island that after the first Petros passed away, the island went into mourning until another pelican was found. Today, at least 3 pelicans can be found wandering the alleyways of Mykonos or hanging out by the port, waiting for the best of the day's fresh catch. There are plenty of sights to see on our leisurely tour, like Little Venice, where the houses are built right over the water. Then there's time to enjoy a snack and refreshments by the water's edge before getting back on board at 6:30. Tonight is our last night on board the Zenith, and what a wonderful cruise it has been. Before we leave Mykonos, we can enjoy a meal outside at the Windsurf Cafe Grill restaurant on Deck 11. It is buffet-style dining, so we can pick and choose as we please. And once we're finished, let's head up one deck for a soak in the jacuzzis and wait for the sunset. The jacuzzis are suitable for all ages, and there are showers nearby to cool off after your soak. It's 96 nautical miles to Athens, and tomorrow there are several disembarkation times if you have a flight to catch. Or there's also the possibility for another excursion if you've got a little more time. Take the time to fill out the impressions of your cruise card an attendant has left in your cabin. All that's left is to pick your next dream cruise destination.